What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Mortgage Coach Tuesday interview. Today, as a special guest, we have Mr. Jeremy Forcier for the 113th time. What's up, Jay Force?
Hey, what's happening, Mr. Savage? How you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. I appreciate you making time and playing a little hurt for us. No one will notice
Awesome.
this, but Jeremy's a little under the weather, but you won't even know.
Awesome.
All right. So I mean, it's a tough time in the mortgage space. You know, I always say, like, this is a mindset market. Loan officers that are doing the right things. We did make the title of this "How to Be Valuable to Realtors When Rates Are Over 7%," because I do think that's something that we really need to do in this market. Jeremy also had kind of a sub headline, like "How to Kick Ass in This Market." Kicking ass in this market is probably not going to break any production records. But if you do kick ass in this market, you're gonna survive, and you're gonna position yourself to gain market share as the market improves. So Jeremy, you know, what are you doing to kick ass in this market, and what are you coaching other loan officers to do to win in this market?
Yeah, so yeah, when we say kick ass in this market, you really hit the nail on the head. I mean, ultimately, what I mean by that is it is mindset and it's activity driven. So it's not emotional driven at all. So it is mindset, it's activity driven, no emotions. So I put everything into math, right? This is a math market, you know, MATH. And the thing I love about math is that it makes all things honest. Math makes all things honest. And that's an acronym that I came up with for the word math, to take out emotion out of anything. So when we say math, what are we talking about? Number of referral partners we have, knowing what that number is. Number of referral partners we need to add, which is going to be 50% of whatever I have right now. I'm going to need to add 50% more referral partners to keep it going and doing volume. How many calls am I making per week? But not how many dials am I doing? How many actual talk tos am I doing each week? Am I asking for referrals, or am I asking to partner with someone? Am I asking for the business? Am I asking for help? Am I asking to help them? Tracking every type of metric right now is critical, I think. And it's all just math at the end of the day, right? Do we have a birthday program in place? These are all things I'm just spitting off the top of my head that I'm working on right now, dialing in. Do I have a birthday program for my favorite past clients so that they're getting a real gift that's personal to them? Am I including the realtor on it every single time we gift? That way it's coming from us together. VIP list and tightening that up. How many events am I throwing? Am I doing 2 events a month, or am I just saying I'm doing 2 events a month? How many times am I having people over at my house per month outside of the events that I do? It's all math at the end of the day. So I think that a big problem that we all have right now is that we get paralyzed when things change quickly, and then we see emotions lead rather than math. If we just keep it down to metrics, how many videos am I making? How many TCAs am I making per day? Am I doing at least 1 per day, even if I don't have a client to do one for? Am I sending that out? If I don't have a TCA to do for a client, am I going to create some type of 2-1 buy down, 3-1 buy down option for someone's listing? How many listing videos am I sending out to referral partners, et cetera, to show them how people can buy their listings right now and still have an affordable monthly payment? These are all the things that I'm focused on, but it comes down to math. Just that's it, just math. What are the activities that I need to do? How am I talking to people? Am I bringing excitement and energy to my conversations? And what I've noticed, Dave, over the last month is when I've removed the emotion from it completely, and I'm just focusing on the number of emails, videos, talk tos, all the stuff that's math related, my leads have gone up, not down. Now, my contracts, of course, they are not up, but it doesn't matter. But my leads are up, my pre-approvals are up, the conversations are up, the number of people saying, thank you so much, this is such great advice, I so appreciate you, those are all up. So as long as we go in an upward trajectory of leads, pre-approvals, and if you're not converting right now, you know, 50+% of the leads that are being referred to you into pre-approvals, that is a problem that we need to work on, right? And that comes down to not building enough trust with the person up front, because we are probably being emotional and they're feeling our anxiety. Okay, so if we're not converting at least 50% of the leads that are coming in for pre-approvals, it's emotional, right? And we're not leading by example. We're not being calm. We're not being confident. We're not being concise. We're not giving people strategies outside of, hey, the rate's 7.5%. Look me in the eye. The rate's 7.5%. It's fine. You're going to be fine. Like, you can't use the look me in the eye script. Okay. It's just, that is reserved for certain individuals, but the look me in the eye script, right? That is, we make fun of that a little bit, my friends and I, of like, that's how we feel a lot of people are behaving in the market, right? It's just like, it's fine. You're going to be fine. You're going to come with me. You're going to be fine. No, it doesn't work right now. That works just as poorly as, I know, man, rates are so high. Like, you can't, those are both emotional on the opposite ends of the spectrum. Right now, we need to focus on what people can do and all of the possibilities and the opportunities. And I will use one word, Dave, that I don't think very many loan officers are using right now. And it's telling people that it's okay to be patient. It's okay to be patient. This is the time to be patient, in my opinion. So being patient doesn't mean that, hey, we're going to time the market and I want you to wait 4.5 months and I think you're going to get a way better deal. Being patient is take your time and be picky about what you want, right? And then when you find it, whether that's in 3 days, 3 weeks, or 3 months, we can execute as fast as humanly possible and we can get exactly what you want. That's what patience is in this type of market. So I think that we just got to put more work in, and I don't think you can outwork the market. And what I mean by that is there is a diminishing rate of return. Like, I was talking to a loan officer yesterday that worked for me. He's like, man, I'm working like 70 hours a week. And I was like, why? Like, why are you working 70 hours a week? Why not work like a hardcore 50, 60, or whatever you need to do right now? But there is a diminishing rate of return, rather than look at like, I'm working 70 or 80 hours a week, which is a diminishing rate of return on your energy and your mindset. Why don't you just look at if you actually worked 50 hours a week? Stop wasting time during your day. Stop saying that you're working all these hours when you're not. Come up with a great strategy, hammer out a bunch of calls, like, and ask people for the business and get appointments. I do think it's the easiest time to get appointments right now in the history of my career. In the history of my career, it's the easiest time to get appointments with, you name it, realtors, borrowers, companies. Why is that, Dave? Why do you think that is?
Because they're in fear, they don't have time, they're unclear, and they're looking for answers and help.
Yes,
Yeah.
everyone is a little freaked out. Yeah, 100%.
So guys, we are 8 minutes into this, and if you just wrote down the notes, you know, it's a math market, it's a mindset and activity market. Math makes all things honest. 1 TCA a day. It's never been easier to get meetings with realtors. If you wrote those down and then you executed on that, like, this call's over. Like this could improve your mindset. This could improve your results. Like really, he has shared in detail what you need to do to win in this market. And it doesn't need to be a lot more complicated than everything that Jeremy just said. Now, we're not going to end the call right now because I want to unpack some of these concepts. I also want to make sure that if you have a question, guys, like, you got Jeremy Forcier on the call, like literally one of the best teachers and trainers in the mortgage space, someone that is going to win in every market. So if you've got a question, I'm ADD, I'm going to be looking for this. Like, put it in Zoom. I'll get your question in. Jeremy is playing hurt for us. So actually, if we don't get enough questions from you, we are going to end this. We don't need to go an hour. Like, the job's almost done. So I'll be looking for questions. So Jeremy, let's unpack a few things here. And a lot of things I'm going to ask you right now, you've said a bunch of times, and guys, there's a Jeremy Forcier playlist. So, you know, it's a good time in the market to go listen to one of those past interviews. But let's just do a quick realtor script, and let's do a whole sequence on how to be valuable to realtors in this market. So you're going to get off this call, even though you're hurt, you're probably going to call some realtors. What is the script of November 1st, 2022? And then let's unpack, you know, this week and next week, you know, what conversations are you going to be driving to be valuable to realtors?
Yeah. So There's a couple scripts that I'm using that are very effective right now. The first is the I apologize script. Okay, so this script, to give you context, Dave and everybody watching, is that we all have tons of relationships that we are not really in contact with, right? Or so think about people you've closed loans with maybe 6 months ago, a year ago, 2 years ago, could be 5 years ago if you've been in the business a long time, that the relationship changed and you're not working with that person anymore. You're not in contact with them on a weekly or monthly basis anymore. I went through on Monday and used this script with 24 people that I'm not really in relationship with anymore. And it's just the, I apologize script. It's super simple. It's, hey, Dave, it's Jeremy Forcier, Cross Country Mortgage. How are you? So these are familiar people, right? They're like, oh, I'm great. How are you? I did this with Holly, for example. And she was like, oh my gosh, it's so good to get reconnected. How are you doing? And I was like, listen, I owe you an apology. I think you're great. I've always thought you were great. And for some reason, things just changed in our relationship and I stopped following up and pursuing you. And I apologize for that because I want to be in a relationship with great people like you. I'd love to get reconnected, see how you're doing, get together. And if I can add any value to your business, that would be great. But I would just love to get caught up with you personally. And that script had landed me 4 appointments, 4 appointments over the next week. And I've already gotten 3 referrals and I haven't even met with the individuals yet. So I think that this is a time to be really honest, right? Remember, math makes all things honest. Be honest with yourself. Make a list of people that you have worked with in the past. Maybe you didn't even close a deal together, but they referred you some leads, you didn't convert them, and it just kind of went away. Think about those people, make a list. You have to work from a list. Call those people, apologize that you let the relationship fade. It wasn't on purpose, things happen. And those are going to be the easiest appointments that you can get right now. Easiest appointments you can get right now is the, I'm sorry, I let you down. I didn't pursue the relationship. I would love to get together and get reconnected with you on a personal level. If I can add some value and we can do some business together, great, but I would just love to get caught up. Okay, so I think that is really, really, really important, Dave, that if you're looking for quote unquote low-hanging fruit, that's low-hanging fruit from a relationship standpoint. Relationships that failed are the easiest to go back to. We all know when you, who's the easiest to go back to if you go through a breakup?
Your ex.
Yeah, your ex. You're feeling lonely. You're sitting on the couch at night. You see something that reminds you of your ex. Oh, we used to watch Friends together. Let me just text Dave and see what Dave's up to. Okay, so the ex is the easiest to go back to. So think of that in your business, right? Go back to all your exes and ask your exes for, hey, how you doing? I'd love to get caught up. It doesn't mean you're trying to sleep with them, you guys. It just means you're trying to re-engage them, and it's going to be the easiest thing to do. So that's one script that I'm using a lot right now, Dave.
Okay, I want to play this out because I interviewed Hunter Markwart about a week or so ago. And one of the things he said, he was, he's a core coach like yourself. And he was telling all his loan officers, I think it was 40 realtor meetings over a 2-week period. And it was just go back and teach them the seller buy down strategy or whatever. He was using the TCA and they were having that with 40. And he was like, and this is like a week or 2 ago. And he's like, agents still don't know this stuff. So is that also the case in your market? And is that also a strategy that you're advocating? I mean, I know you've been doing this for months, but what are your thoughts on that strategy still?
Yeah, so second script that I'm going to is around the buy down. Okay, so it's called a tripod approach. It's me contacting people, asking them not about their buyers right now, but I'm asking about listings because most realtors have listings right now that are sitting. So I'm asking about listings like, hey, do you have any listings coming up on the market? Or do you have any that are sitting right now? Yes, the answer is yes, always, whether they have one sitting or whether they have one coming on the market. And I said, listen, I would love to go through a few different strategies with you. And I would love to show you a few different options to qualify people for more. One of them is a permanent buy down, which will qualify people for more than they're qualified for right now. And one is a temporary buy down where we can go in and strategize. And I can tell you exactly what the dollar amount of concession that's going to be made, okay, for your seller. And I can send you a TCA, Dave, if you want. I created one of these for a realtor to send to her seller. That way the seller was aware of the difference between giving like a $26,800 credit or lowering the purchase price by $80,000, right? And seeing what the difference is in a 2-1 or a 3-2-1 buy down. So educating is really important. And I will tell you, the headline that I use from a call it clickbait type of scenario to get people's attention is, hey, I know everyone's talking about a 2-1 buy down, you guys. I want to actually educate you on to why that doesn't work. So that's how I'm getting people to pay attention. Well, Jeremy, why would you do that? And then you're going to talk about the 2-1 buy down. It's because affordability is the #1 issue right now. So, and there's a difference between affordability from a true qualification perspective and affordability from a personal budget perspective. So if you start with like, I want to talk to you about how I'm sure you're getting bombarded with a 2-1 buy downs and everyone, is trying to sell this in the market. I want to tell you why it doesn't work 80% of the time. That's how you get engagement. And then you give credibility by walking through that qualification is the #1 issue right now. Affordability is #2. So somebody that was qualified 6 months ago, right, was qualified for 30% more, basically, purchase price than they are right now if they were maxed out, right? They were qualified for 30% more from a price standpoint. So a 2-1 buy down doesn't help that individual at all unless prices come down 30%, right? It doesn't help. Now, what does help is a permanent buy down, right? A seller buy down strategy. Now, a 2-1 buy down is excellent, though, for people that are super qualified right now and have a budgeting like target that they want. And then I go into how the buy downs work, and you can show the different concessions for each option. So getting engagement that way, I think, is a lot easier than sounding like everyone else. And did Hunter share his, I love Hunter, by the way. Did Hunter share his calculator that he's using, like to do the buy down calculation? No? Okay, so I'll share it with you. I'll send it to you. So I have an Excel sheet literally created. I've sent it to tons of realtors. I've sent it to tons of my loan officers, where all you do is put in the purchase price and you put in the loan amount, whatever the start rate is, and it will automatically calculate what the 3-2-1 buy down is, what the monthly savings is each year. It'll automatically calculate what the actual concession or credit is needed from the seller to the penny. And then it makes it really easy for realtors to use this in the market as well. So I'm happy to send that to you.
Yeah, send it to me and I'll put it in our Facebook group under, we'll call it the Hunter and Jeremy buy down calculator, something like that. And I'll have that in our group. So Josh King, we'll get to you in a minute. Thank you for your question. It's a great question. And I will make sure we cover that because I'm going to hit Jeremy with all the most common objections. So we've got 2 scripts. Now, I just want this to be a little micro lesson. Like we're 20 minutes into this, and within 5 minutes, I want people, okay, I've got my 2 scripts. And then they also have this, the seller buy down, the mortgage coach TCA seller buy down. How are you using that in this market? When are you using that in this market? And do you have one that you can share with us right now?
Yeah, so I'm using the seller buy down constantly. I mean, the seller buy down is really simple. It's literally just showing someone, I took a loan officer, Brenda Bronson, yesterday, who is newer to mortgage coach, right, within our company. And she reached out to me and she was like, this is taking me an hour to do. Hey, let's hop on the Zoom real quick. And then I just like screen shared and let her drive her screen and showed her within 8 minutes, right, on how she can create all these different options. And it's just like a light bulb goes on. So we're using seller buy down a lot.
Time out. We'll finish sharing that. And then let's do a little 8-minute Jeremy Forcier on how you're teaching people to do this in 8 minutes. Yeah, someone just said I do that.
Yeah, no problem. I'm happy to do a live one while we're here and just show people how easy it can be. But here's from a strategy perspective. You said, when are you using it? Context is important. So if you're targeting realtors with it, you're using it just to show them, like, if you gave X, here's how many more people would be qualified for the home. Okay, that's one. How many more people would be qualified for the home? So if we could get a rate into the low 5s or the mid 5s, or at this point, I don't know, the low 6s, okay? The low 6s, right? From 7.5 to 6.25 through a seller permanent buy down, that you're going to get, an additional 15% of the people that are looking at this house that can actually purchase it and afford it. That's one strategy from a context position. Where I'm having the most success though with it, and I can do a live version and show you, is for individuals that, I'll give you a great example. Yesterday, a client saw a listing they're super interested in. Okay, 1.4 million was the original list price. Well, it was just lowered, right, to 1.3 million. Now, what do you think this buyer wants to go in at, Dave, on an ask price?
Less.
1,050. Excuse me. I'm going in at $1,050,000, right? And the reality is it's probably not going to get accepted, right? But that's okay. So instead of saying, hey, Dave, I hear you, but that's just not going to happen, you're going to alienate that person. Okay. You're going to piss them off, and you're basically telling them they're stupid, and it's not okay. So instead, what you do is you go, hey, that's great. What I'm going to do is create a presentation for you, send it over. I'm going to show you a couple different ways we can go about it. So I created this TCA for this individual yesterday that said, hey, here's a 1,050 purchase, right, with a 6.875% interest rate, broke it all down. I said, now, if you get a counter offer though, because you're going way under, right, I want to show you, if you offered 1.2 million with a 3% credit from the seller, what we could buy your interest rate down to, and what the monthly payment difference is. The difference in monthly payments, you guys, was like $180 a month or something like that, right? So that way it's called Inception, right? Like that movie, Inception. You're planting an idea, and you're not saying, hey, you're wrong at the 1,050, but you are showing them that, hey, if someone comes back, with a counter, you could always counter with this, and you're getting almost the same thing. Like your payment isn't really going to be that different than it is if you were to offer $1,050,000. So things like that, I think, are extremely important when you're using these, is showing people if they're going hardcore under whatever the list price is, and they've already done a reduction, the likelihood of it getting accepted quickly is very low. Okay. But you can show them that if you get a counter, here's what I would do. So the realtors love this, by the way, right? Because Dave, here's what the agent was telling me. They were like, I don't even want to write the offer. I don't even want to write the offer at $1,050,000. What am I doing? I'm wasting my time. This is ridiculous. I already know, the agent already said it's not going to get accepted, period. So I said, hey, let's write the offer anyway. Let's call the listing agent and say, hey, I know that this isn't acceptable, right? But we're going to submit it because this is what the client's offer is. Feel free to respond with a counter, but please at least consider a counter, and we'll work from there. That way you're keeping deals alive right now, right? We're not just letting deals die. So we have to figure out a way to be engaged with the buyer, show them that maybe this isn't realistic, but here's a great plan B, educating the buyer's agent on how to communicate with the listing agent. And then what a great opportunity for you as the lender to reach out to the listing agent and explain this strategy as well. And maybe you can help them on other listings they have too.
So guys, this is it. I mean, this is how you can be valuable to realtors right now, is bring clarity to the two biggest problems they have. Qualification, Jeremy said, number one, affordability, number two. So understand how to have those conversations, understand how to use Mortgage Coach to have those conversations. So Jeremy, let's, we're 25 minutes in, and I think we've crushed it. I mean, two great scripts that people should just focus on. You don't need a third script. Like, kill it for the next 2 weeks by calling everybody in your database with one or both of those scripts. Meet with them. Do a quick Jeremy Forcier seller buy down TCA training, because while we do live training with our trainers every day of the week, there's nothing like someone like you that's created thousands of TCAs. As a user of Mortgage Coach, there's nothing better than having you just do a quick, loan officer training other loan officers. Do you mind let's keep it under 10 minutes. Let's share, you guys, this is huge. You literally have one of America's best advisors who's going to show you how he creates a total cost analysis in a few minutes. And
Yeah,
keep
no
the
problem. I'm
questions
happy to
coming.
do that.
And Josh, I will make sure your question gets answered. Anybody in Facebook, put your questions in, and after he does this 10-minute training, I will just dedicate it to getting all your questions answered, guys.
Yep, no, happy to do it. And what I want everyone to take away from this as well, and while I'm bringing up edge here, is that I know Dave said we don't need a third script, but here is one, and let me give you context to it. Okay, is that this is not a tough market. Okay, we have to stop saying that. This is the market. Just like when it was easier for us, it's not that it was an easy market, it was the market. So the market is always the market, right? And it's always hard work, no matter what, period. Whether it's easier, whether it's harder from a market, pressure perspective. And then I need you to understand this. I want you all to write this down. Pain equals change, which equals growth. Pain equals change, which equals growth. So pain is good. So here's the script that goes with that, right? Literally, you can ask people, you can tell them first that, hey, here's the good news. Pain equals change equals growth, right? So I have to ask you, Mr. and Mrs. Realtor, like, are you in pain right now? Where is your pain? Do you need help with it? I want to help you. You can be unbelievably direct. And I don't think that we're clear, direct, and firm enough with people. Like, we have to be clear, direct, and firm, but just asking people, explaining that, pain equals change equals growth. And then asking them, like, are you in pain, or where is your pain right now? Can I help? That's it. Like, it's such an easy script that we can all use, and we're coming from service. So I'm going to share my screen here, and I'm going to show you guys how I am using TCAs, how fast we can create them. Okay.
Hey,
So
real quick, for the Mortgage Coach Innovation Team, let's make sure we create a couple posts in LinkedIn and in our group, just summarizing Jeremy Forcier's 3 scripts in this market. And all 3 of those are great, bro. Love that third one.
Awesome. Excellent. So let's see, ILEK. Cool. So I am just showing you how fast it is now. This is just an import feature that I have on the Enterprise Edition, which is killer, by the way. So, I just imported a live file who went into contract yesterday. You can see all their information is in there and whatnot. I'm just going to title this.
Hey, time out, Jeremy. Just a little heads up for everyone. Jeremy has, works for a company that has an Enterprise Edition with an integration. Tell your manager, that, hey, I need Mortgage Coach integrated. What he just did, what would have probably taken you a couple minutes before you had that? Like, it would have.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it both ways to show you guys that it's not necessary at all.
Cool.
Yeah. So, but this is definitely,
but it does make it easy.
Incredible. It makes it way faster. So, I'm going to go straight into product 1. So this already has all the stuff dialed in, right? 825 purchase, 25% down, because it imported directly from my LOS, right? This is going to have all the fees in there, correct, et cetera. And it's all dialed into whatever is in Encompass right now for me. Okay, so I'm just going to title this one, right? 30-year at 6.99%, because this is the first option that I'm going to show them. And I'm going to move forward here. It already has the points in there. It has all my costs, my prepaids, everything's dialed in. Now, one thing I notice is that, on our LOS sync, it always puts credits as the deposit. So I'm just going to remove this and hit apply to loan. And now I just put the deposit here, $24,750 is the earnest money. Cool, it's got all the taxes in there. They want impound, so I'm good. I'm just going to add another product. So then here, I'm just going to put 30-year, 6.375%. Okay, and I'm going to copy from the product that I just did. Hit OK. Change the interest rate. And then I'm going to click on get pricing. 30-day. Cool. That looks great. And move and next. Okay, so I'm just going to check this out and see what my pricing looks like, and I'll choose which one I'm going to import based on what looks like the best pricing is. So let's use this one. Okay. So this one is expensive. Looks like rates got worse today. I haven't looked yet, huh? That's cool. So I'm just going to pick this one right here and hit OK. And what that is going to do is in the closing cost section, it imported the points. So it copied all the closing costs from the last one, imported the new points. If you don't have the import feature, all you're going to do is price it out, and you're still going to copy it the same way I showed you. And you're just going to put in whatever the cost is right here. Okay. So then I'm going to go to next. And then I'm going to do one more. And here I'm going to put seller credit. Right. So on a lot of these contracts that we have right now, you're going to notice, and I'm going to make sure I retitle this. So this is going to be 30-year, 6.375%. Cool. And this one is going to be a seller credit. So in the seller credit one, what I'm doing is that these people are already in contract. Okay. So what I'm showing them is, because context is important, this isn't like an idea that I'm presenting to someone. This is in contract, right? So what I'm going to do here is just show them that as they go through inspections, because they have contingencies, et cetera, if stuff comes up and they want to negotiate, I'm going to show them that a credit is better for them than actually lowering the purchase price while they're in contract. So I'm not saying this will happen. I'm just going to show them, right, that we can absolutely get a credit if they can negotiate it, and then they can go ahead and negotiate, a lower credit. So here I'm just going to pick a new one. I'm going to pick credit. Excellent. And I'm going to put -3%. Perfect. So this is going to show them getting a credit of $18,562. Okay, so I'm done here now. All I need to do is go to the presentation, show them these three options. And this is what a video would sound like if I was creating a video, which I can't do right now. I would go through and I would highlight these. And I would simply say, hey, Dave, thank you so much. Congratulations getting into contract. I'm super excited for you. We look so forward to making this a smooth process for you. What I've created here for you today is a presentation where I'm going to walk you through two different options, give you my opinion, and also show you something that if you do have an opportunity to negotiate, of how the either lowering the purchase price or getting a credit is better for you. So in the first column, I showed you an $825 purchase price, 25% down, $618,750 loan amount at 6.99%. Your payment's $5,074.91. That includes taxes and insurance. Total cash out of pocket with down payment and all closing costs, we have already taken your earnest money deposit into consideration here, is about $205,988. Now in the second column, I showed you that if you wanted to buy the interest rate down to 6.375%, your payment would be $252 a month less at $48.2271. But you can see your cash to close is higher at $216,157. Now, Mr. and Mrs. Borrower, my opinion would be right now to not do this with your own money, because interest rates are going to plummet at some point in the next year, and we're going to automatically refinance you through our mortgages under management portfolio. Excuse me, guys. So now the third column is what I'm showing you, is that you might have an ability to negotiate during the process. And I'll work with your realtor on this, Jeff. And if something comes up before we release our loan contingencies, if there is stuff that comes out in the home inspection or the appraisal report, et cetera, you would be better off asking for a 3% credit from the seller, right? Or an $18,000 credit based on your loan amount, either or, whatever you can get. And I'm showing you that you can get the 6.375% interest rate using the seller's money to buy it down. Then you get a $48.22 monthly payment, and your total cash out of pocket is the lowest at $197,595. Now, this doesn't mean it will happen, but I want to show you how your money is best used. So for right now, I have to pick an option to get disclosures out to you, get the appraisal ordered. I'm going to go ahead and disclose you at the 6.99% option. We can make any changes that you want through the process, so please sign the e-disclosures when you get them. Let me know what your feedback is, and we can talk about the strategy moving forward if you can get a credit. There you go.
Boom. So guys, Jeremy, that was much less than, it was like 8 minutes. He created a TCA, made a 2-minute video. So Steve, Atkins, your question was answered on how much detail he gets. And remember, there's a lot of different versions of these videos. There's the version for the realtor. There's the version for the buyer. So, and I don't care whether you're using one of our integrations, you could create a total cost analysis in less than 5 minutes. And even if you didn't have an integration, using strategy templates and using templates, you could create them very, very quickly. Jeremy, one of the questions in here was, what's your script for calling past clients? Anything you're doing there? And are you still asking all of your people in process for referrals, and how is that going?
Absolutely, man. I'm still asking all my people in process for referrals. That's called the CCR, the current client referral, 100%. So here's a really easy way to program people up front. Okay, let's start with the current client referral, right? Programming people up front, I think, is critical, is that making sure that you promise 3 things and all you ask is for 2 things in return. Okay, so, hey, it's so great to be working with you. I promise you 3 things. Number 1 is that we're going to communicate effectively throughout this whole process, and you'll be getting updates from us every single week, structured on Tuesdays, as well as in between, of course, with excellent communication. Number 2 is that we promise an on-time close that will be smooth. And number 3 is no surprises. The numbers are never going to be different than exactly what we tell you and agree upon. And if it is, we will cut you a check for the difference. So those are our 3 promises. If we were going to add a 4th, it would just be to have a great experience. We want you to have fun while you're going through this process. And Mr. and Mrs. Borrower, all I ask is for 2 things in return. Okay, number 1, we ask that you get us any documentation that we request from you within 48 hours of the request. That's number 1. That way we can ensure an on-time close and a great, over-the-top, unbelievable experience with no surprises. The second thing is that we ask you just to introduce us to 2 of your friends, family, coworkers, sphere of influence. Introduce us to them so that we can be of help to them in the future. So if we, stand behind our 3 things that we promise, would you have a problem standing by the 2 things that I'm asking of you? Okay, so that's a programming script, right? You're programming that up front. The reason why the programming part is really, really important is that then it becomes easier to ask. Okay, it becomes easier to ask for the referral. So when you have moments of celebration with them, the loan is approved, or the loan is pre-approved, or the loan is clear to close, etc. You have times of celebration when they're happy. And you have to be asking them all the time, hey, how are you feeling? How are you feeling about the process? And when they say good, great, it's awesome, etc., right? Then you can ask for the referral. Hey, do you have you thought about the name of those 2 people that I talked about up front that you could introduce me to? Just a really simple introduction. I'm happy to send you an email. You can feel free just to reply to it and add the person individually, and I would love to connect with them. Keeping it really simple is the best way to do it, but programming is critical. And I fail at this, by the way, you guys. I teach this, and then I find myself on my lead calls up front getting off the phone, and half of the time I'm like, I didn't program them. Why didn't I program them? Like, you have to program first, then it's a lot easier to ask. This is a mindset thing, as Dave said, is that think about when you're calling on an agent, it's really hard to just cold call someone out of the blue for most people, including me. I'm just a little better at it than most people, but it's really easy to follow up with someone based on something you either sent them, like an email or a call, and you said you were going to do something for somebody. This is the same thing. You're programming them and you're telling them that you're going to ask for introductions. So treat it the same way. So that's what we're doing with CCRs still. We are still absolutely getting CCRs. So I had 7 in the month of October. 7 seems to be my lucky number on it. It seems like I get 3 or I get 7. I don't know why, but we got 7 in October. And don't forget that CCRs convert at the highest rate of conversion, 68% for me. So the highest rate of conversion are going to be CCRs. because you have people that are going through the actual process that are super duper excited, and they're talking to their friends, their family, etc., with excitement, bringing that energy, and they're introducing you to them, and then they are excited to talk to you. So it's the easiest referral, but you have to program first if you want it to be really effective. And then you have to ask whenever something comes up that is celebratory. Okay, so it's really, really important. Now, on the past client calls.
Hey, Jeremy, real quick.
Yeah.
I just want to, real quick, guys, I do got to jump here in a minute. Jeremy is going to close out the call. Any questions that come in through Facebook, Robert, if you could put those in the Zoom chat, because Jeremy's going to make sure all the questions get answered, and just close out with his coaching advice. I want you to think of this as a sales meeting. I do believe in the mortgage industry. On November 1st, this is the single best sales meeting in the mortgage industry. That's always what I'm trying to do every Tuesday. But I have a webinar to go to. So I know you know Sean, and one of the reasons Sean now has adopted Mortgage Coach, Jeremy, it's some of the leadership you've brought. But I'm going to go interview Sean Kaplan, who's the top producing loan officer, and we're really going to drill down on how he's creating wow. Like, we're going to drill down on his story as a mortgage coach. One of the things that I think is super powerful, it's what you do in person. You know, we live in a world where, you know, you got to wow in person, whether that's meeting someone in your office, that's their office, that's happy hour. You heard Jeremy's having people over to his house. But guys, in the real world today, the real world is not just a physical world. It's also digitally. The real world is a combination of what you do in person with people and what you deliver digitally with clients. So we're gonna go through Sean's experience, talk about how he's winning with a combination of being a local advisor and delivering digital value, and how he's bringing that all together. So I'm gonna go create that webinar. There'll be a link to check it out. It'll be in our YouTube channel by tomorrow. It'll be in our group after this call. Jeremy, do you mind closing it out, making sure all the questions get answered in chat, and giving anybody your coaching advice in closing?
Yeah, of course. So please, keep putting in your questions. I'll monitor it as well. It's no problem. Thanks, Dave. Have a great webinar.
Hey,
Tell
thank you,
Sean I said
brother.
hi.
Yeah, thank you, brother, for all the value. Thanks for making time.
Of course, my pleasure. So past clients. Okay, I did something yesterday that I have never done, and it was a little uncomfortable, but it was easy. Okay, it was a little uncomfortable, but it was easy. What I did is I went back and I pulled the previous 30 days, birthdays, okay, for all of my closed clients in my database. And yesterday I reached out to, let's see, I have it right here. I reached out to 11. So I did 11 past client calls on their birthday, but it wasn't really their birthday. I missed it, right? I missed their birthday calls. So I was calling those individuals and just saying, hey, Stacy's a great example. Stacy Almy, hope you're having a great day. And I was calling to wish you a happy birthday. I know it was 3 weeks ago and I totally missed it. And I want to get reconnected with you. I hope you spent your day doing everything that you possibly wanted, and that you were pampered and you had an awesome time. And I would love to get reconnected. You know, give me a call or shoot me an email whenever you have a chance. Happy belated birthday, and I'll talk to you soon. That is a really easy way to reach out to past clients, right? Even if you miss their birthday, you can still reach out to them and acknowledge them, acknowledge their birthday. I had a couple great conversations with people. They're like, oh, don't worry about it. It's okay. I'm like, no, it's not okay. I say that I want to be your lender, your client. You know, you want to be a client for life, and I want to take great care of you. And I literally missed one of the most important days of the year for you. So having those conversations, they ask me, well, how's it going? And I shared with them what I shared with you guys. Hey, I'm definitely in pain right now. Our industry's in pain, but I know that pain, right, equals growth, right? Pain equals action equals growth. And so I'm really excited about this time. But yeah, no, it's a slow time in our industry, no doubt. And then it just turned into like, well, she was like, well, how can I help you? You know, so she's asking me how she can help me. She's asking me how she can help me when I called because I missed her birthday. She brought it up. So those past client calls, when you're saying, hey, like, I'm sorry I missed this, etc., it's not a time just to ask for a referral. But if they bring it up, it's a great opportunity for you to talk about what it is you are looking for, what it is that you're looking for. So it's really, really important, I think, to be super honest with people. And it's okay to share pain and be real. That's the easiest way to influence anyone, is to share pain and be real. Not to always have to call with some solution or made up scenario, etc., but just literally connecting with people and making sure you're in front of them. So that's something I'm doing with past clients a lot right now. Another thing that I'm doing with past clients is I'm back to throwing events. Okay, I'm back to throwing events. So I'm doing one event a month, and I'm doing them in small groups. So think about groups of, call it 5 to 15 max, right? So a really easy event that we could all do is, after they buy their house, right, have an event the next month that you can open up for past clients, as well as the people that you closed the previous month or 2 months or 3 months at this point, because we're all closing less loans, on, hey, I got you into your biggest debt, right, which is also your greatest asset, real estate purchase. Now I want to show you how to budget and teach them the 6 steps of financial freedom, right? This is just what I do, giving you an idea, right? 6 steps of financial freedom on how you create a monthly budget, how you can track your expenses, how you can save money, how you can prepay your mortgage so we can pay off that debt faster over time. Have a really simple once a month open webinar to your past clients. You'll get 5 people on, you'll get 10 people on, you'll get 15 people on, and you'll have great interaction. Now, I want you to cap it though at 15, no more than 15 people. Because if you go over that, it's really hard to engage, and people become less likely to ask questions on these type of webinars, Zoom meetings. You can do them in person. If you're in a market where people come face to face a lot, you could do this in your conference room, but it's really, really, really impactful. So those are 2 things I'm doing with my past clients. I'm redoing my birthday program for them as well. And then of course the annual reviews, right? I'm still doing annual reviews for all my clients going back 5 years or 5 years or sooner. So I do a 5-year annual review for every single person each year, even if I know there is absolutely nothing I can do to help them. Let me give you a great example. Amanda Glover did an annual review call to her, last week. And she was like, hey, this is really great. Actually, I got divorced, 2 years ago, and I have a new person, and we're thinking about purchasing a new house. He owns a house, I own a house. We're trying to figure out if this makes sense for us to keep all the homes, or if we should sell a home and buy one together. Boom. Had a great time. And that came from an annual review call. So making sure that you're reaching out to these clients, regardless of what you think in your mind, that, hey, this doesn't make sense right now. This person has a 3.25% 30-year fixed rate mortgage. I'm just kind of wasting my time. No, you're being in relationship with them, and opportunities will appear, right? So now she is pre-approved to purchase a house, sell her house, got to introduce her to a great realtor to help her look for the new house, and it's a win-win-win. So contact sport, right? Sales is a contact sport. We need more contacts. We have to be reaching out to our past clients. And if we don't, someone else is. So Kai McBride taught me that, like, I don't even know, 14 years ago or something, orphan loans. Like, hey, you don't have like a bunch of past clients, to call, ask people randomly. And so people will do that to you. If you're not calling your past clients, people are going to adopt these orphan loans that aren't being taken care of, that aren't being contacted by their lender, that aren't showing them what they can do right now in the market. So high level of contact is super, super, super important. I'm going to go through the chat real quick and make sure if I can answer any questions. And then I want to walk you through something called the core sales test. And that's what we're going to close out with. Okay. So let's see here. How much detail do you give the borrower in the video? I give them a lot of detail if they click on things. But really what I want is, I want the detail to be there. But if you noticed when I was doing my fake recording in my video to the client, I keep it really simple. So I would keep it really, really simple in your presentation so that you can be calm, confident, and concise. And then if someone is going to ask you more detailed questions, all the information is there. And that's a really easy way to hop on the phone with them, share screen on a Zoom, and walk them through the actual details of everything. What I have found, you guys, okay, and this is for Steve Atkins and everyone else that's watching, what I've found is that if you keep it clear and you're calm and you're concise, keep it really simple in what you tell them in the video, 75% of people are like, hey, that was a great tool. No, that's great. I agree with you. I think we're going to go with the 6.9 or option 1 or whatever, right? That is the number one feedback that I get. So think about that. That's 75% of people are like, hey, this is super clear. This is awesome. I like option 1 or I like option 2. Let's go with that. Okay. Now that leaves only 25% of people that are going to ask you questions. So you're saving a ton of time, but the information still is all there. Now you get to have a very constructive second conversation with that person rather than them ghosting you, right? And not getting back to you and just looking at a rate or just looking at a cash to close. They're going to ask you the questions. And when someone asks you a question, you are putting yourself into a position of being an expert and leading that individual. So you're going to have a lot more influence there, okay? All right, let's see. What's your go-to script for past client database that perhaps you haven't stayed in touch with? I shared that. So it's the I apologize version. I did that for you guys. I think birthdays is a really, really easy way to do it. If there isn't someone's birthday or you don't have that information, I would literally just call back and use the same script as I did for the realtor. Hey, Robert, it's Jeremy Forcier, Cross Country Mortgage. I owe you an apology. I've done a poor job of staying in touch with you, and I really want to change that in my business. You were a great client to work with. I would love to get caught up, see how you're doing. If there's anything I can do for you, great. And I'm committing to follow up with you on a more regular basis moving forward. Okay, that's a super, super easy way to get in front of people. Let's see if there's anything else. Okay, cool. That's it. So let's see. I called several agents yesterday, and the objection is I've got a great lender that I'm 100% loyal to. What is the best script to respond to this? So I love this. Okay, is that what I always say, because that happens to me all the time too, is that I say, hey, that's great. It doesn't surprise me that you're a great realtor and you have a great lender relationship. You know, all I'm saying is that all things do change over time. And my number one partner and referral source, you know, I followed up with for 7 years before I got an opportunity. And I would just like to have that opportunity with you. I'm not asking for anything from you right now, right? But I would love to just get to know you a little bit. That way you can understand how our process works. If your individual isn't unavailable or they can't do a loan, et cetera, you'll have a great backup option. So I think it's worth our time just to get to know each other just a little bit. That would be a great script for someone who says, I'm 100% loyal to this person. There's a gentleman named Ben in my market that literally I've followed up with for 7 years, you guys. Like his best friend is literally the lender, right? And it took me 7 years, right, of following up. And I wasn't calling him every single week because that annoys people, by the way, if they tell you that they're super loyal and they're in a relationship. So context matters. But I did follow up with this person, you know, probably for 10 weeks, every week at the beginning. They finally told me, hey, I think you're great, but I'm super loyal to this person. I said, hey, I just want to stay in touch with you. So I would invite this person to my events. I would call him every single quarter, check in, see how things are doing, how things are going in the market. And then I got my opportunity this year, right? I got my opportunity, found out that this person really likes to play golf. I really like to play golf, even though I suck at it. And we went out and we played a round of golf together, right? In that round of golf, you have to figure out ways, right, to get in front of people and spend some time with them. We didn't really talk too much about business until he brought it up. What's going on in the market with him? I got to ask him questions. How long have you been in the business? Like, you know, what's your number one pet peeve? Like coming off the last couple of years, what are you changing right now in your business? So I got to ask him all these questions and build a really good rapport. And then I got to follow up and say, hey, I'd really like to work with you, right? So that individual's referred me 3 people, 1 deal just in the last 3 months, but it took me 7 years really to get that opportunity. So I think it's a time that you need to keep going after people, keep pursuing that relationship. You don't have to be a creepy stalker. You can set your intentions with them and tell them what you're looking for and that you're willing to wait, to be patient. I think it's really, really important. All right, cool. Let's see. Where can we find the 6 steps to financial freedom? I will send that, you guys. I'll send it to Dave. I'm going to send the buy down calculator, 6 steps to financial freedom, as well as this test I'm going to go over with you. So what am I focused on right now? So there is a test called the core sales test, okay? And this test hasn't changed. These questions haven't changed over the last 12 years of me doing this every single year. And what's funny is that this is the lowest score that I've got on this sales test, excuse me, in the last 6 years, right? So my score went down. My score went down because I got distracted. I got busy doing other things. And it's really simple. So it's 100% yes or no answers, period. 100% yes or no answers. So if you do it 70% of the time, it's a no. And it gives you a really good look into your business in a really simple way. So this is what I'm focused on for the next 6 months in my business, is turning all of these no's into a yes, and I will see my business grow. So the first question, you don't have to write these down, I'll send it in, is I average $3 million a month as a lender, okay? Please circle yes or no. Yes, great. I see 10 people face-to-face every week. You answer yes or no. If the answer is no, you should focus on that, right? I send 20 thank you cards every single week. Yes or no? Every single week, not every other week, not when I feel like it, okay? I have 3 break breads with influential people every week, okay? So that means you're having coffee, lunch, dinner, or happy hour with 3 influential people every single week. And it's a yes or no, period, okay? I talk to 75 people on the phone every single week. It's a simple yes or no. I have a 10-person whale list that I work weekly. So a 10-person whale list would be like a realtor list of people that could refer you potentially 1 deal a month. It could be a business you could have a partnership with, HR, etc. So I have a 10-person whale list that I work weekly. I put no, I don't. I need to get back to that. I have a top 50 VIP list that I call 15 of them every single week. I put no. I have the list, but I'm not calling them every single week. I'm not calling 15 of those people every single week. I got to get back to that. I mail to my database of at least 400 contacts once a month. Okay. Yes, for me. I call all past clients to do an annual review 4 years back. Yes, I do that. I have a top 50 past client list, which is different than a VIP list, by the way. You can't put them on both lists. You either have a VIP list and they're on that, or you have a top 50 past client list. That way you have more people to contact from your list. I have a top 50 past client list. I call 12 per week. I put no. That's really yes, but I put no because I'm an overachiever. Because I do my annual review calls, technically I do that, but I want it outside of my annual review calls. I want to make sure I'm reaching out to my top 50 best clients, right? And I'm reaching out to 25% of them every single week. So I have to have my list dialed in. I generate 50 warm leads per month. Yes, absolutely I do. I perform Tuesday update calls for all my clients and referral sources every week. Yes. I send 1,000 videos, okay, per month. Yes. I have 2 whale accounts that send me 10 deals a year each. I do not. Okay, not in my market. I don't. I need to work on that. I do a happy hour every month. Yeah, I do. Remember, a happy hour could be 3 people. It could be 10 people. Spend 4 hours a day selling and prospecting for new business. Yes. I survey every client and receive a minimum score of 8 out of 10 on 90% of my surveys. I hold or attend 1 group training or seminar every month. I send birthday cards to my top 50 past clients and top 50 VIP list. I call all my theme days every single week. Okay, I put no. So when you add all of these up, it gives you a score. I'm going to send this form out so you guys can have it. And your score is that if you get 17 through 20 of yeses, you're doing the work. Your income should be somewhere between 300,000 and $1 million, okay, per year, just by doing these things. If your score is 12 to 16, you're on your way and your income should be 125 to 300. And if your score is under 12, it says you probably should find a new job, which isn't being serious, of course, but it means you got a lot of work to do, right? So my score was an 11, you guys. So basically what this says, and I'm doing great for the record, but what it says is that I'm not following a process and a system, and I'm only using my will, right? I'm using my will only. So if I make some of these changes, and if I'm already making $1 million a year, and I scored an 11, which is in the worst category from a score standpoint, if I only focus on turning one of these no's into a yes every single week, I can absolutely crush it, and so can you. So I will send all of this to you guys. If there's any final questions, I'm going to walk through here. What do you classify as a VIP list or top clients? number of referrals. This is a great question. So a VIP list is really simple. Here's my filters for it. It's do I like them? It has nothing to do with business. Okay. Do I like them? Do I want to be around them in person? So think about that for a second. If you don't want to see the person, but they refer you a lot, I wouldn't put them on a VIP list. Maybe they'll be on a top 50 past client list or a top realtor list, something like that. But I wouldn't put them on a VIP list. So it's, do I like them? Do I want to hang around them in person? And then the third part to it is, have they made an impact in my life, or have I made an impact in theirs? Do I want to help them? Okay, so that's how I define my VIP list. Top 50 past clients. I don't look so much for how many referrals I get from clients. That is my second filter. What I look for in my top 50 past client list is how enjoyable was it to work with them? How easy was it to work with them? Because if you can generate more referrals from them, they are most likely going to refer you like kind people. Okay. So you guys, it's 10 o'clock. I super appreciate you having me on. I'm sorry that my voice is going in and out, but thank you so much for being here. I will get these forms over to the mortgage coach team, and I really appreciate you guys. Go crush it today.